see lots of violets in the near future here, and none of these have been planted. They just continue to come up each year, and they continue to spread across the yard, which I love because I love the color purple. And I think it's beautiful. You'll also see lots of hedge bed straw. It's kind of all over the place, but it's here scattered with the violets and the dandelions, and we've got a little pollinator friend over there. But I also noticed quickly in that clip there that we also have a sugar maple tree growing up, which is kind of a weird place for that, so we might relocate. But anywho, you'll see that this plant coming up here, that is called a bee balm. It's also known as a monarda. That's one of the very few things that we have planted in this yard because we want it to kind of do its own thing and just support it in that. So we try to keep the grass at bay, and the hope is that eventually we have native pollinator plants for the most part as we slowly try to remove the grass. But it's a slow transition that's going to take a lot of time, so we're being patient and doing our best to sort of manicure the space to keep the grass from overtaking everything and allowing all of the other stuff to pop up on its own. Something I'm really proud of is our yard is a certified wildlife habitat per the National Wildlife Federation. And I'll read this here. This property is recognized for its commitment to sustainably provide essential elements of wildlife habitat, food, water cover, and places to raise young. So moving on. This is just the front yard, by the way. We're going to go through the side and the back as well. Okay, here we have some knotted hedge parsley. It looks like carrot. It is in the carrot family. Those recently started popping up, and just to be clear, it is early May, the timing that this is being filmed, so there's a lot more that will be coming up and getting bigger and sprouting and blooming and all of that. We're still very early in the spring season here, so I anticipate lots more species to make themselves known, but for now you're seeing lots of violets and dandelions and hedge bed straw in particular. Here's something else that we planted, which of course I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but it's another pollinator, another native pollinator plant. So moving towards the top of the yard, you'll see that this part is a little bit more barren, and it will fill out. We've got some clovers up here, which I love the clover. And here's Rocco, my cat. He loves to come outside with me, and he loves to chase and eat bugs and go after the moles that we have under the ground. Yes, he is super cute, and he's about 2 years old. We actually found him outside. He had no owner, no microchip, nothing. So he quickly became ours, and by quickly I mean over the course of a few months, because he was somewhat feral, very scared and skittish of humans. But here's his little leash that he's clearly not wearing because he had enough of it. But he doesn't go far. He stays with me, and when he gets nervous, he will bolt back to the house. Okay, here we have some dahlias. These we did plant recently. They were gifted to us, so we popped those into the ground. We've got more clover, and there is another Rocco sighting. He is in the lilac bush. He loves to hang out in there because it provides good coverage, and he finds lots of bugs to eat. Big fan of crickets, moths. I try to keep him away from certain things, but leaves soon enough. There we've got some bull thistle, bull thistle, bull thistle that is scattered throughout the yard as well. And just backtracking, I wanted to point out another sugar maple tree. I don't know why these are just randomly popping up out of nowhere, but there's like 4 or 5 new trees sprouting up just randomly throughout the yard. But I guess it's all good. Rocco decided he wanted to continue on, so that is what we did. Kind of followed him around to see what he was, looking at, checking out. But he really just likes staying out and be outside with us, so especially on a really nice day. And you can't blame him. You really can't, so just kind of hanging out with him. Seeing what he might eat next, I don't know. But he's a good kitty. He's very vocal too. I've muted this video, obviously, but he just yells and yells and yells. He sounds like a bird. I actually was using my Merlin bird app to listen to different bird sounds to help identify them, and he started crying, and the app thought he was a chickadee. Chickadee, chickadee, chickadee. Okay, moving on. Now we're moving towards the back of the yard, and the lilac bushes sort of border that back area. We've got a hammock that is just kind of casually in the yard. I like to hang out there. I could fall asleep in that thing. It is so comfortable. Okay, we've got more varieties of species here. And again, lots of hedge bed straw, which I love because I like to forage some of it and put it in my tea. My tea has a lot of great healing properties. Here is the sad area of sumac. We need to fix up that area. We'll get to it. Here are some other flowers that I am forgetting the names of. There is some goutweed scattered in here, but I can't think of the name of those flowers. Dandelion. What else? Just random grasses popping up, but they're kind of cool looking, so I don't mind them. Got my little rooster wind chime. I think he's super cute, super cute, super cute. And I just think that's a good place for him. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, lots of goutweed up in here, which you can also put in tea. I take most things from my yard and turn it into a tea, which is kind of weird, but I like to do it. Okay, here is a new tree that I did plant that you'll see more of in a bit. That was a Norway spruce. This is a purple hyacinth. Randomly just popped up, which I love, because again, I love purple. And here we've got some fiddleheads. I don't know what kind, but they just sprouted up as well. And as you'll see, this back bank area is just covered with green and life, and I love it. I don't do much maintenance back there other than pulling out the dead stuff when the time comes. Here is lots of wood from a tree that fell over the winter. It was a big tree. This is not all of the wood, but it's what we could lift. Here we've got more violets, more bed straw, and some peonies, which I think are actually quite hideous. That's like my least favorite thing in the yard, but I think they'll get prettier. Those are new as well. Those did not pop up last year. So again, nothing back here aside from that one one Norway spruce tree. Did we plant? This all has just continued to pop up on its own. So, and there's only one area of the backyard that we mow at all. Okay, here we've got some, what is this? Robin's plantain. That will bloom into a really nice looking flower, and we'll get a lot of that in the backyard. Also in the backyard we get this carpet bugle. It's still really new, but later in the season you'll see some nice little like reds and purple shades, and it looks much more like a grass carpet than it does at the moment. So just have to wait for that. And then back towards the house, we've got some goutweed and some other random things that continue to bust out. And again, we just kind of let it do its thing. I love the way it looks. I love providing habitat, so it's gonna just keep doing that. And then a random bird feeder that also needs a new chain. Things keep blowing over, but... And at this point, Rocco did go inside, and he was not happy about it. As you can see, he's like, why are you still outside and I'm inside the house? And so you can see he's a very vocal cat. He just loves to talk. He's a very chatty guy. But it's all good because, again, he really does sound like a bird. It's like very cute. And he's just curious. He's always wanting to know what's up. And don't worry, he did come back outside shortly after. Okay, so wrapping up this back area here. Just giving another view of all of the plants that have scattered throughout. We've got a rain barrel, which I need to set up for the season. But yeah. Then we have a quick shot of the garden, which we will get back to in a moment. It's still too early, there's nothing in it yet, but I will show it off. More carpet bugle. You can kind of tell that there's something happening here. You don't really have much color yet, but you can kind of tell that the entire backyard does get quite a bit of carpet bugle, which I like. And then up the deck steps to the back door. Do some more random plants. We're just kind of, again, letting it do its thing. And each year that we do this, we find more and more will pop up that we have never seen before. So it's an adventure every time we go outside. Okay, and here is the garden area. And this is a veggie garden in particular. We've got our little solar gnome here. Again, this has been weeded out for the season, but we haven't planted any seeds. We'll probably do that in a few weeks, and the goal is to go with spinach and snap peas because we've had really good luck with both of those things. They grow in abundance and they take little effort, so I think we're going to do those again. We've tried other stuff and we'll continue to try more, but that's the plan. And then here we've got a little baby blueberry bush. You can't quite see what's happening with it yet, but it is starting to sprout and we'll see fruit in the next month or so. Same gig over here. We've got another blueberry bush. They're still very young, as you can tell. This is their second year. Over here we've got some elderberry bush, which has a lot more growth than the blueberry does. And clearly we need to weed around this area just a little bit to allow more growth to take place. But these really started sprouting overnight. I mean, this growth is immeasurably greater than what it was not long ago. Even this little guy who has been struggling is sprouting as well, so excited because I love elderberry and blueberry. And then this is sort of a decaying apple tree. It produces some fruit but not a ton, so trying to see how I can help that. But we've planted another tree back there, and again we have some random growth taking place in the area. We'll get lots of forget-me-nots over here as well. And this lettuce looking thing just popped up out of nowhere like overnight. So fascinated by that, need to do some research on it. And over here as well, no idea where, I don't know, just kind of nuts how things pop up like that. But so that's the yard. After that I went back inside because I had to get back to work, and Vito wanted to join me. He's funny, he'll literally just sit or stand around me and kind of do laps while I'm trying to be productive. Be productive, be productive. He doesn't really like that. As you can see, I've got my laptop. I have an iced latte with oat milk and mocha. That's quite good. And I also also have this, oh, what is this? A bowl of pasta. I think I was having lunch at the time. And then this massive jug of water that I was just trying to crush. Staying hydrated is important. And again, he's just kind of lurking in the back. He likes to do that, I don't know. And then he got sick of that and went to chill on the couch in the office area. So he got comfy cozy and took a little nap shortly after that. So I was finally able to get something done, which is good. So later on in the day, I took a ride because I don't even know where to start with this story, but I'll get into it in a second. But I'm on my way to a relative's house right now. Still in the state, but a bit of a drive. We had some road work, so I took a little video. I was listening to Bourgeoisies by Conan Gray off of his new album. And just enjoying the sunlight and having the windows down, playing music. It was really nice. But anyway, I took this trip over to my relatives because I had a surplus of Norway spruce trees. And you might be thinking to yourself, that's kind of odd. Yes, it is kind of odd. And let me tell you why. So I made a contribution to the Arbor Day Foundation several months ago, sometime over the winter. And as a thank you for donating, they sent me not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 Norway spruce trees. Now granted, they sent them to me as little babies. You're going to see what they look like in a bit. Right now I am digging a large hole to support that tree. But they can grow up to like 80 feet tall. They are no joke. So you need to be particular about where you put them. Now, I put 2 in my backyard, and we gave several away to some work friends, but that left us with 2. So I took them over to my relative's camp to plant the others. So again, here I am digging the first hole, one of 2. And don't ask me why I thought Birkenstocks would be the appropriate footwear for this. I knew full well what would go into it because I had just planted 2 other trees at my house, but I was in a Birkenstock mood. And the reason for the socks is for ticks. Ticks are incredibly common in Vermont, and more common is the rise of Lyme disease. My roommate has it. That is also no joke. So, important to be very mindful about tick bites. So, I knew that if I was going to wear the Birkenstocks, I would have to wear the socks as well, at least for this part. And then I could take them off after the fact. And it may seem like the hole is quite large, and it's true, it is. It's bigger than the tree necessarily needs, but I'm just giving it space to grow and making sure there are no old root systems that need to be pulled out in preparation, which I did find. So there you go. I've got the little clippers there. Started pulling out some old dead roots, just to again make a welcoming space for the tree. Now, as you might notice, we're kind of just like out there, right? Just kind of in the woods vibe. So the tree is gonna have to work really hard and to prove that it wants to survive. It's kind of survival of the fittest out here. I'm doing what I can to set it up for success, but at the end of the day, there will be other plants that pop up that it will compete with. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and do what I can, but I am hoping for the best. I think these are hardy and resilient trees, so should be okay. Okay, so now we're gonna grab the gloves. Also, shout out to that bend. That would have been impossible for me to do a few months ago after my my surgery, so just seeing it, I'm like, dang, okay, pop off, knee, you're doing good. Side note. But anyway, here is the tree. You can see he's little. It's a little guy. But you can see the root system there is, decently sized, and we're gonna pop it into the hole, cover it up with dirt. And at this point, what's going through my head is, how am I gonna plant this? Am I going to crouch down? Am I going to fully get onto the grass? Because again, still trying to figure out what my limits are post-op. Doing some last minute cleanup there just to make sure we're all good to go. And you'll see that eventually I do decide to just, go onto the ground because it's more comfortable. Plus I have those comfy, somewhat baggy work pants on, so it's no big deal. But again, I'm just going to be careful to check for ticks later. And throughout this, you might notice me kind of checking behind me, looking off to the side, and it's just good practice when you are alone and a woman in the woods. Whether it's, you're looking for other people or for wildlife like bears and moose and things of that nature. And also, to be clear, in my jacket pocket, I do have materials to keep me safe. Nothing crazy, but I have mace and a whistle, a really loud whistle, and my car key because my car was not too far from me. So anyway, just a good thing to keep in mind when you are by yourself and you are in the woods. Ideally, I would have bear spray, but I didn't have it on me, so anywho, just keeping an eye out and keeping my ears open, no listening to music or headphones or anything like that. This is an area that will be populated come summertime, it's a summer destination for people, but during this time of year in May, there's nobody over there yet. People have not opened their summer camps and houses for the summer yet. So, very, very quiet, very much alone. But again, it was a beautiful day. I really didn't even need the north face, to be honest with you. But again, I wanted to have that stuff in my pocket. Oh, dropped a worm. Gonna pick it back up and show you guys. There were tons of worms, little crawly guys. Don't worry, I was delicate with him. That's why he fell out of my hand the first time, but just popped him back into the dirt. Good for soil. And there were lots of little wormy guys. But anyway, here is the finished product. Yes, I forgot the mulch. I actually didn't forget it. I ran out, so I had to go pick up some more after this, and I will go back to mulch the area. But it's looking pretty good. And you can see there is other growth not too far away, so again, it's going to have to do its thing and try to survive and compete, but I did what I could. Here's my dirty sock. For whatever reason, I said, let me show that to you. And I did plant the second tree as well, and I'm showing it off because I figured you probably didn't need to see me go through that whole long process again of digging and cutting out the roots and yada yada yada. I did bring a watering can with me, but it was going to rain the next 2 days, so I figured that would be okay. And so that was that. I left shortly after, and I will go check on them in probably a week or two. Now, before getting back into my car, again, I wanted to do a tick check. Ideally, right after this, you would go home and shower, which I did when I got home, but I had a pit stop to make before I did that, so that's why I wanted to be really careful and just check the neck. I thought my mole was a tick for a second, but it wasn't. Take off the nasty socks and check my feet and ankles and my pants because I was in the grass. Again, just being vigilant and all that good stuff. Because again, they become more and more pervasive each year, and I have woken up in my bed with a tick in my arm before, and again, like I said, sun shining through. And we got back on the road, and on the way home we stopped at, and I'm saying we, it was just me, stopped at a local plant nursery where I got some pollinators the year prior. I really love this place. It's small, it's local. The people remember you that work there. It's just really nice. Now these plants were just annuals, which I don't typically pick up. I am a perennial pollinator girly, but I did find them to be quite beautiful and wanted to kind of walk through anyway. And I did end up picking one up for a small planter that I'm going to put on my porch, and it's this one. I am forgetting the name. It's like alligator something. But I just thought it was so weird and cool looking. And then I walked into the greenhouse that was more so filled with pollinators, which is this one, and where I got the majority of my plants that day. As you can see, this is bee balm. That is what I showed in my yard earlier. It's just a taller, more grown version of it. Mine will eventually look like that. And here's the other plant that I could not remember the name of, that I still can't remember the name of. But yeah, most of these are spreaders that will kind of carry their way through the yard. Great for bees and butterflies and all of that good stuff. So again, I did pick up most of my plants from this section, and then if you go outside, there's lots of trees you can purchase as well. So that was the haul that we left with. It doesn't look like much, but I got that and 2 bags of mulch, and it was honestly not cheap. It is crazy how quickly I can spend money on plants. But what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so that we picked up. Okay, so next day I had a work event, and I saw this on the way. I thought it was really cute. We are all healers. Then I made my way to the waterfront because despite being in a landlocked state, we do have lots of access to water, and I thought it was quite lovely. So we are going to end it here on this scenic view. You might wonder, is this a Vermont propaganda video? And perhaps it is. I love it here, and I wanted to show off some nature scenes. A lot of this brings me peace. My yard brings me peace, and being out in nature does. So I hope you found this video to be relaxing and enjoyable. And if you have any questions about the plants, I will do my best to answer them. And I can do a follow-up once things have really come to life. But again, just wanted to share what I've been up to with you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.